ladies themselves a little better. As I chat with each contestant, the judges will be giving them scores based on the charm and personality of each contestant, rather than on the content of the interview itself. And during the commercial break, each young woman was advised that she could have an interpreter available if she so desired. As you will see, some of them did. You folks at home will see a score posted immediately after each of these interviews. And I'm going to begin with Miss Holland. Will you step over to me, please? She is Ingrid Schouten. She's 20. She lives in Zeist. Is that correct?
Yes.
Been studying bookkeeping and plans to enter college. And what do you want to study in college? Now, you stay right up here in this good light. You want to be as pretty as you can be. And I want to be up here and be as pretty as I can be in this light, too. Now, what are you going to study in college?
What I'm going to study in college?
Yes.
Oh, I try to tell it everybody here in America, and it's difficult to say. It's a kind of economy.
Economics?
Economics.
Business? Why do you want to study business?
Because in Holland you can get a good job later.
And when you go back to Holland, what are you going to tell your friends about New York?
Great.
You like it?
Yeah, very much.
What have you liked the most?
People here.
The people are very nice. I'll tell you, when you go back, you can tell them one thing in Holland. The Mets have not lost a ball game in more than a month. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Miss Holland. See a score for her. And we'll talk with Miss Ecuador. Miss Ecuador is Lucia Vinuesa Urgeyes, 18. She lives in Quito, and she's a high school student. And what do you propose to do when you get out of high school?
Well, I'm going to study architecture in the university in Quito.
And you speak English very well. In fact, you've been interpreting for some of the girls, haven't you?
Well, yes. When I was 7 years old, I lived in Washington, D.C. for a year.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
What? So did several people in the balcony, right over there. What were you doing in Washington, D.C. for a year?
I was going to school there.
You just went there to go to school?
Yes.
In your bio, you said you were a golfer. What's your handicap?
33. I'm just beginning right now.
A 33?
Yes.
When she was in Washington, she took lessons from President Ford. I shouldn't say that. I read the other day he's become a fine golfer. Thank you, Miss Ecuador. We are ready for Miss New Zealand, who is Danella Thompson, 21, from Auckland, a model, apprentice hairdresser, and clerk typist. You're a busy girl. What do you enjoy most?
Out of my occupation there?
Well, what do you enjoy most then?
My modelling.
You like modeling
Yes,
most of all?
Definitely.
And you're from a very large family.
Oh, yes.
How many in your family?
There's 10.
Was that fun, growing up in a family of 10?
Oh, yes, it was really.
Is this your first visit to the United States?
No, in fact, it isn't. My first visit to the United States was in 1979
Where did you go?
to California.
Los Angeles?
Yes.
And you were surprised that there was not one bit of smog.
Are you kidding?
Thank you, Miss New Zealand. You see a score for Miss New Zealand home. And we invite Miss Sweden to step out here. She is Eva Lundgren. She's 19. She studied at the Institute of Languages in Germany and plans to continue her study of languages. And one of the languages she speaks, fortunately for us, is English. What other languages do you speak?
I speak a little French, Russian, Swedish, and German.
Have you had any trouble talking with the New Yorkers?
No, not yet.
Have you met anyone from the Bronx?
Yeah, one.
You understood him perfectly. The Queen, how about Queens? Have you talked to anyone from Queens?
No, not
Take
yet.
my advice and stay out of Brooklyn. Now, in reading her bio, I was fascinated with her occupations. One of them was working for her father. You think vice president, not so. Tell our audience what you did for your father.
I was cleaning his factory.
You cleaned the factory.
Yes, and then I was working extra in a hamburger bar and as a teacher for children.
Well, you were a gardener, weren't you?
And a gardener.
Yes.
And that's it.
Now, that's enough for this. Let's see, what are you? 19. How do you say, I am going to return to my place in German?
Oh boy.
How do you say, I'm going back where I came from in German?
Ich gerne zurückfallen.
All right, do it. Right back there. Thank you. Check her score. and meet Miss Brazil. And Miss Brazil has a following in our audience, as you can plainly see, and Miss Brazil has also asked to have an interpreter, and they're becoming fast friends already. Now, she is Adriana Alves de Oliveira,
Okay, yeah.
18, a student at the Institute of Porto Alegre. And ask her, please, what career plans she has, will you?
Quais são os planos que você tem para a sua carreira?
Para a carreira é de me realizar uma boa médica, que é a universidade que eu vou seguir, e também uma boa profissional como manequim e modelo.
She wants to fulfill herself as a good doctor. She's going to medical school, and she also wants to enjoy modeling in Rio.
A doctor who models part-time. I think that's great, unless she's going to operate on the day she gets a call for the fashion show. Now, I believe that all of the girls went out to an amusement park and rode a roller coaster, which made quite an impression on Miss Brazil, according to a couple of her friends. Would you ask her to tell our audience about the roller coaster ride?
O que é que você achou da montanha russa?
Ai, meu Deus do céu, quando eu... Não, em primeiro plano eu entrei pensando que fosse aqueles carrinhos de cair na água. Quando eu vi, eu cheguei a ficar com dor no pescoço, eu não aguentava, quase morri.
As I said, she liked the roller coaster ride, you see? But you have learned some English, one of your friends told me. What can you say in English?
I love New York.
Great! Thank you, Miss Brazil. Most important thing to learn while she's in New York. Miss USA, let's talk it over. Miss USA is Kim Sealbreed. She's 20 years old. She lives in Germantown, Ohio, and she's a model. And she became Miss USA just 2 months ago down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And what was the reaction in Germantown when you became Miss USA?
I think probably they were very shocked.
Well, did anyone say congratulations when you came home?
Yeah, they were very, very supportive. And I'd like to thank everyone there for all the well-wishers and all my friends and family. They were great.
Well, what have you done during the last 2 months as Miss USA? What exciting things have happened in your life?
Well, I haven't really had a lot of time to do
She's had 2 dull months as Miss USA, as you can...
No. I haven't had a lot of time to do extensive traveling yet, so...
Well, where have you traveled?
Well, I've been to Trenton, New Jersey. I've been to Wichita, Kansas.
Well, from now on, everything's going to be downhill, because if she's seen Wichita and Trenton, she's seen it all, hadn't she? Thank you, Miss USA. See her score? Those are our first 6 semifinalists, and we'll be back to talk to the other 6 in just a moment.
Years ago, the first Miss Universe pageant was held in Long Beach, California. As time went on, the pageant moved its location, and with the advent of improved television facilities and the coming of the satellites, the Miss Universe pageant not only brought us beautiful ladies from everywhere, but took us to exciting places all over the world. Now have a look. You're gonna like it.
Live via satellite from Hong Kong.
Live via satellite from Republica Dominicana, the Dominican Republic.
Live from the Miami Beach Auditorium in Greater Miami.
Live and in color via satellite from the Seramar Beach Hotel in Dorado, Puerto Rico.
Live from the ancient theater of Herod Atticus in Athens, Greece.
Live via satellite from the beautiful new Folk Arts Center of the Philippines.
Live via satellite from Mexico.
Live via satellite from way down under in Perth, Western Australia.
Live via satellite from Seoul, Korea.
Tonight, the list of cities adds another glamorous name, New York, where Bob will be interviewing 6 more of our semifinalists right after this from Head and Shoulders.
Sometimes, if you could hear what people think.
Looks like he's another fan.
Wow, she even looks like a movie star.
But she's scratching her head. Could she have dandruff?
I bet he wants my autograph.
No flakes, but that itch. Even she could need Head and Shoulders.
Well, I'll help him out.
Even if you don't see flakes or no one tells you, your itch could be telling them you've got dandruff. Studies show 9 out of 10 people have some. But Head and Shoulders every time handles that itch and treats hair gently. So all people notice is healthy-looking hair.
Such beautiful hair. Aren't you?
Head and Shoulders, because that little itch should be telling you something. Available in regular and conditioning formula for extra manageability.
Boom! Rickety, rickety! Mom!
What's wrong?
My uniform doesn't have that fresh smell it usually has.
But I just washed it.
And it used to feel soft.
She noticed you didn't use Downy.
There's a big difference without the softener. Downy rinses in April freshness, skin-loving softness, helps rinse out static cling.
Ah, that fresh smell's back. Feels great, too.
I'm using Downy again.
Yay, Mom!
Now aren't you glad she notices?
April Fresh Downy.
Time now to learn more about our other 6 semifinalists, beginning with Miss Norway. Miss Norway is Mona Olsen. She is 20 years old. She lives in Oslo. She's a model. You're a model now. What are your plans for the future?
Well, my plans are to modeling for a few years, and after that, try to open my own flower shops.
You speak a little louder now, won't you? You're going to open a flower shop. Do you have a garden now, or do you like flowers all your life? How did you choose that?
Well, I worked in a flower shop for 3 years ago, and I like that very much.
What are your impressions of the American people?
I think they're very friendly.
They are very friendly, aren't they? What have you done since you've been here in New York?
Well, lots of rehearsal, and we have visited very much nice restaurants and a few discos.
Have you played any 3-card Monte?
Pardon?
You know what 3-card Monte is?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know.
You have money with you from Norway, don't you?
Yes.
I'll teach you the game after the show. Thank you, Miss Norway. And let's meet Miss Venezuela. Miss Venezuela is going to have an interpreter. She is Irene Saez. She's 19. She lives in Caracas, right over here. Will you please, sir? And she is a university student. Ask her what she's studying, will you please?
¿Qué rama de estudios hace usted?
Estoy estudiando ingeniería civil en la Universidad Metropolitana de Caracas.
I'm studying civil engineering at the Metropolitan University of Caracas.
How did she become interested in becoming an engineer?
¿Cómo que se interesó usted en ingeniería civil?
Pienso que mi personalidad va de acuerdo a esta carrera y siempre me ha gustado ver crecer los edificios como crecen los niños.
Because I think my personality lends itself to this career, and I like to see buildings grow like children.
I think her personality would lend itself to any career. In her bio, she said that she participates in sports. What does she do?
Dice que usted participa en los deportes. ¿Qué clase de deporte hace usted?
Me gusta jugar tenis y jugar kicking ball.
Kicking ball?
Kicking ball.
Kicking ball? Soccer?
Kicking
Football?
Fútbol y béisbol.
Football and baseball.
Does she follow American sports?
¿Y sigue usted los deportes norteamericanos?
Sí, cómo no.
Yes.
Admiro muchísimo a los Rojos del Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati Reds?
Yes.
And what other team?
¿Qué otro equipo?
Los Dolphins de Miami.
The Miami Dolphins? Ask her if she's ever... Ask her if she's ever heard of George Steinbrenner.
¿Usted conoce el nombre de George Steinbrenner?
El pitcher de...
A pitcher? He sells beer on television. He does beer commercials, doesn't he? Thank you very much. President of the Reggie Jackson Fan Club. Let's see a score for her, and we will talk with Miss Belgium. Miss Belgium is Dominique Van Eekhout, age 20. Brussels is her home, and you also are a model now, but what do you hope to do in the future?
I would like to be a public relation, and first, I would like to be more famous in modeling in Brussels, and maybe work in France, Paris, and maybe in America if I have luck.
Very good. Have you been in the United States before?
Yes, I have gone here twice in Florida and Connecticut, and I traveled by bus, by Greyhound, during 33 hours.
33 hours by bus from where to where?
From Bridgeport to Orlando, Walt Disney World.
What was the most beautiful state you saw?
Oh, I remember Georgie. What's
Georgie?
Yes, Georgie. I tell why, was because it was so strange, and
now you don't mean the people of Georgie were strange. You mean the scenery.
The scenery. Yes, the scenery.
Yes,
That's right.
yes. Because you were about to lose the votes in Atlanta, Georgia, there for a moment. Thank you, Miss Belgium. A score for her, and a talk with Miss Germany, who is going to have an interpreter. Miss Germany is Marion Kurz, right up here. Marion, please. That's fine. She's 20. She lives in Rodin. Is that how you pronounce it? Rodin. She's a secretary for an industrial firm. And ask her, will you please, what she has enjoyed most here in New York?
Woran haben Sie sich am meisten vergnügt hier in New York? Was hat Ihnen am meisten Spaß gebracht?
Das Essen im World Trade Center.
Ask her to speak up louder, will you please?
Kannst du ein bisschen lauter sprechen?
Das Essen im World Trade Center.
It's the food in the World Trade Center.
The food?
Yeah.
What food did she particularly enjoy?
Was haben Sie da am liebsten gemacht?
Den Fisch, was da gegeben hat. Und überhaupt, dass man das Essen da, dass man die Aussicht gehabt hat und alles.
She likes the fish better than everything.
They have no fish in Germany. Oh, you do understand some English, don't you? Now you turned around and answered yourself.
Not so well.
What do you want to do in the future? Ask her. Yeah.
Was willst du in der Zukunft machen?
Ja, das weiß ich nicht genau, wie dieses Pageant heute ausgeht, aber wenn ich nicht gewinnen sollte, dann werde ich weiter als Sekretärin arbeiten.
It depends on this night, and if she doesn't win, then she's going back to her job as a secretary.
I think that's good planning, very good planning. Thank you, Miss Germany. She has thought this thing through. And now, Miss Tahiti, please. She is Tatiana Tereyamano. She is 18. She's a bank teller. And do you wish to have an interpreter?
Yes.
Someone who speaks French? Do we have a French interpreter here? Yes. Will you come out here, sir? He was back checking his makeup. Many of us in the United States fantasize about running away to Tahiti. Ask her to tell us about Tahiti.
Parlons-nous un peu de Tahiti, parce que tout le monde a l'impression de vouloir aller à Tahiti.
Now, louder, someone up there says, and I agree now.
D'abord, lorsqu'on arrive à Tahiti, il y a la chaleur tropicale, et il y a beaucoup de végétation, et aussi beaucoup de fleurs. Et puis, il y a une chose surtout, c'est que c'est la beauté naturelle.
The natural beauty, the first thing that you notice is the tropical warmth and the vegetation, the flowers, and above all, the natural beauty.
And she is a bank teller. Ask her if she has visited our country before. Ask her if she's... You have?
Yes.
Where?
Japan.
Where?
Japan, France.
Oh, Japan and France.
Yes.
But has she visited the United States?
Visiter les États-Unis?
Where in the United States has she been?
Oregon, Palm Springs, California, San Francisco, and Las Vegas.
What did she like most? What was the most fun for in this country?
Slot machine.
Slot machine? That's a very bad habit for bank tellers to get into, Miss Tahiti. Thank you. Slot machine. And now we're ready to talk with Miss Canada, who is Dominique Dufour. She's 22. She is from Laval, Quebec, and she learned to speak English just 2.5 years ago. Why don't you tell us why you did not speak English sooner and how it all came to pass?
Well, most of the people in Laval are French. Like Quebec province is
most of it is French, except in Montreal it's bilingual. And I started modeling 2.5 years ago, and almost all the people are English in the modeling business. So I had no choice. If I have to understand, put this dress on, then I have to learn English.
Of course. Now, I read the bios over for all of these girls, and they answer certain questions, and one of your answers impressed me tremendously. When they asked her favorite television star, you said,
The Price is Right.
The Price is Right. Do you really watch? Come on down, you got it.
Yes.
Do you really watch Price is Right? Does your family watch it?
I have no choice. My father is sitting up there, and he watched The Price is Right every night.
Your father is here in the balcony? You, sir, have won a refrigerator. Thank you, Miss Canada. What you have just seen is the first of the 3 judging categories that will eventually narrow our 12 semifinalists down to our 5 finalists.
Well, did you and the judges agree on the scoring? Their choice was Miss Venezuela, followed by Miss Sweden second, and third we have Miss Belgium. Now, if your favorite isn't leading, don't be sad. Let me remind you that